Hey, this is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and Film Intuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen. This week, we are welcoming back Sheila O'Malley, who has been writing for RogerEbert.com since 2013. Her work has also appeared in the New York Times, the LA Times, Sight and Sound, and other outlets, including Film Comment, for which she had a bi-weekly column called Present Tense. She has written numerous booklet essays and video essays for Criterion Collection releases. She is the author of The Art and Making of Frankenstein, a book detailing the making of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Sheila is a member of the New York Film Critics Circle and the National Society of Film Critics. I am honored to be here with Sheila O'Malley, who's one of my favorite people and one of the smartest women I know, best writers, just all around great. Sheila, it's been too long. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I've been very much looking forward to this. I think last year, I think this subject matter that we're going to be discussing today kind of was tossed out there. Don't you think it was that long ago?
I think so. It was at least a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, because there isn't a ton of stuff. He's so well loved, but there's not a ton of stuff out there about him. So this might be kind of a cool thing. So
I agree with you. Yeah, I've always loved Dana Andrews. Laura was one of my favorite movies growing up. And so I was really excited. I know you're a big fan. My friend Nikki Dolson is a huge fan. So she's like, I can't wait to listen. And so there are some of us who are really into Dana. Trying to think what the first movie I saw with him was. Might have been Best Years of Our Lives. Do you remember what drew you to him?
I think, well, just about what you were saying, like a lot of his films, much of the older ones are on YouTube. And if you go and look at the comments, he is so well loved. Everybody knows he has such a nice fan base. It just is so heartwarming. I'd have to go back. I would say probably my introduction to him, it might have been Ball of Fire, which
I love that movie.
Completely different than anything else. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's who he is.
Yeah.
It might have been because I was really into Howard Hawks in high school. So it's always fun to kind of take your entry point and then see like what else. He did so much.
He really did. Yeah. All the Westerns and all the other
the war movies.
Yeah. Ball of Fire is such a good one because it's kind of him playing against type. We kind of saw him as like a good guy. Sometimes he was a tough guy, but in Ball of Fire, it's essentially Barbara Stanwyck is like a Snow White type character, a flapper character who's a jazz, she's a club performer and she hides out with these professors and teaches them slang and Gary Cooper and
such a realistic film, isn't
exactly
it?
Right. And he is like the gangster beau of her.
Joe Lilac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of playing like a Chaz Palminteri or a De Niro type character.
Yes. And then the movie is so funny and it's not a noir. Like Joe Lilac is like a Damon Runyon.
Yes.
So we're not really scared of him. And then near the end, like he's funny in it too. Mm-hmm. He's not meant to be like truly threatening, although you do feel the threat in her performance, like her being torn between the good girl, bad girl type thing. But this sort of wedding scene, he's hilarious in it too.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see because he didn't do a bunch of screwballs or romantic comedies. He was we can get into that, like why that might be, but he seemed a little too burdened to be part of that. But anyway, so I believe that was my entryway, which is hysterical because it's incorrect. You have to go deeper to find out more, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, Laura, Best Years of Our Lives, those were kind of early ones. Laura obsessed me so much as a teenager that I actually developed in my mind like an idea. I'm going to write a mystery where it's this person and then they come back. And I remember I filled a whole notebook. I still have it
Oh my
somewhere
gosh, Jen.
of like,
Of course you still have it.
yes, a mystery that was inspired by Laura. And it was kind of like a cross between Laura and the player. I don't really know.
Okay.
But
So maybe she's caught up in something.
yes, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
Hollywood is involved, of course. And yeah. And I wanted, of course, Dana Andrews to be in it because, you fall in love with Dana. Absolutely. And we were talking off air a little bit, like, what is it about Dana that sets him apart from other performers of the era? Like, when I was doing some reading about Dana Andrews, it said something like in 1947, he was voted the 23rd most popular star. And I'm like, 23? What is going on? And then you start thinking of, okay, this was the era of, Jimmy Stewart and Humphrey Bogart and
Yeah.
Cary Grant and all of that. But I'm still like 23. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that sets him apart?
Well, ever since we decided, I have been ruminating it. I have been,
Yeah.
trying to come up with some kind of formula that will crack the code. There isn't a ton out there of
No.
writing out there. So Imogen Smith, who is amazing.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Really, really good piece about him maybe 10, 15 years ago, which I tracked down. And it kind of gets at, I think the thing that I sense about him in his best roles, not Ball of Fire, but in his best kind of dramatic noir roles and in Best Years of Our Lives, is that there's always like self-loathing is really close to the surface.
Yeah.
Which you feel it, like Cary Grant let us see that in Notorious. Okay. But he's Cary Grant, so he's got that gleam and Riz, as the kids would say, in Notorious, which Dana Andrews does not have. This is no shade. This is just, there's Cary Grant who looks like Cary Grant showing us something in Notorious that is so self-loathing. He never showed it to us again. Dana Andrews has this feeling of like, I'm a heel. I'm a disappointment to myself. I'm not living up to, I'm a man, but I'm a failure of a man. It's this, these roles.
Dude in flux, basically.
Yeah. And very, I would say, but I'm not a historian. So you can come at me, bro, if you want to, but like very of his era.
Yeah.
Best Years of Our Lives is such a great commentary on that. Like you can see why Don Draper was the way, let's just say that, like why those guys who came back from war were the way they were. I mean, where's the support system? Where does anybody ever want to hear about their feeling? Like there's literally no context for a guy like Dana Andrews' characters to talk about his feelings. And when he does, it's very either cathartic, like happens in Best Years of Our Lives, or like in Laura, he just falls apart, which is just incredible. Like, so I don't know. I feel like self-loathing is very close for him. Like it goes really deep, and there's an uneasiness. Like you can't, like
he's not comfortable in his skin. There's a world weariness.
Like I can't picture him like that's one of the reasons why Best Years of Our Lives is so moving, particularly his performance, is we get to kind of just see him as a regular guy. We get to see him in all these different kind of not a noir world where his expression is narrowed to a tiny point. But so I feel like he's his persona on screen, I'm not talking about him off screen, is kind of burdened and a little heavy and unexpressed. Unexpressed.
Yes.
What do
He's
you
sort of,
think?
I agree with you. I think he's going through like an existential dilemma, which was kind of this era too.
Yeah,
We would see it more in the 50s and stuff, but I think, yeah, you kind of nailed it. He isn't super comfortable in his skin. He also kind of seems to be one of those guys who's looking around the room trying to see how everyone else is acting. And
yeah,
then do I act like that? Can I relate to that? Like he's a man outside
yeah,
of the group, I think a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
And there's variety in that. Like I was thinking about, so he did 4 movies in total, I believe, with Otto Preminger.
Yes.
Laura, Where the Sidewalk Ends, Fallen Angel, and I'm forgetting the other one, Daisy
Daisy
Kenyon.
Kenyon. Yeah.
These are it's just a wonderful quartet of
Yes.
films, but also because there are shadings that are going on with this. I don't even want to call it a persona because he really wasn't that kind of actor.
hmm
He was an actor. He was like,
Yeah, like a character
yeah,
actor.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a um. He was very good in war films. He was good in westerns. But noir seemed to. He was made for like that kind of skeezy, nocturnal, isolated
Yeah.
guy, which gets more and more extreme if you watch like Laura, Fallen Angel, and Where the Sidewalk Ends. It's like they're all very different characters.
They are. One thing
Yeah.
I found watching a bunch of these in a row too with him is you get the sense that his character, now maybe this is off screen or not, I don't know the guy, but is probably smarter than people realize.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially in Where the Sidewalk Ends, he's playing this cop who uses his fists and stuff, but it's like he doesn't want people to know that he's smart. And we kind of see that as throughout all of his movies a little bit. Like
Yeah.
this guy has more going on, more wheels are turning
Yeah.
than he wants people to be aware of. And
Right.
yeah.
And that goes to the self-loathing too. I was thinking
Yes.
that when I was rewatching Where the Sidewalk Ends, where
Yeah.
whatever, let's just say it's in a continuum with like Laura and I can't remember the exact order, but like whatever level of expression his character in Laura had has vanished by the time Where the
Yes.
Sidewalk Ends. He is openly damaged. He's
hmm
wearing his damage on. He doesn't know he's not hiding it well. And it's not revealed. The script is quite good too, because it's not revealed until, spoiler alert, anyone, until in the film that his father was a hoodlum and
Yeah.
he has feelings of shame and self-loathing about where he came from, and he wanted to become a cop to kind of show the world he wasn't just so and so's kid, which reminded me a lot of River Phoenix's character in Stand By Me. It had that feeling of like, I will always be defined by the shame. It's intense. It's kind of an intense performance. Um,
Mhm.
and you know, what are you gonna in that film? He can justify his actions as much as he wants. We all get where you're coming from, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's one choice that you have to make, and
Mhm.
it's quite a good film.
It really is. Yes. That's one I had seen. I think I'd seen all of these, but it had been a long time.
Yeah,
Fallen Angel, actually, that one might have been new or else I completely forgot it, but it was
yeah,
when I was watching it all of a sudden. Okay, when she had the hamburger, yeah, that was very
yeah, yeah.
familiar.
I mean, who
But
could forget with flour,
yes,
prepared eating
yeah,
hamburger?
but
I
no, this
know.
was a great group, and he'd already been with Gene Tierney and Bellstar a couple years before I think Laura, at least 1 year or two,
Yeah,
and they worked well together. But I found it interesting how much of a tyrannical reputation that Otto Preminger has. Now, he didn't really work with him by choice on some of these movies. Some of
He
it
was under
was he was
contract. Yeah,
pushed.
of
Yeah.
course.
But I found that interesting. He did work with them 4 times.
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know much about his process, I would say, because people weren't really asking those kinds of questions, and I don't think Preminger would be probably open to process, but
No.
um, he seemed fairly no nonsense and practical, regardless of
Yeah.
whether how deep the talent goes, that he was under contract. He grew up dirt poor. I think there were 9 children in his family. Like, this is not a guy who's going to start complaining about, you know what I mean? Like, he was going
Yeah.
to be successful and be a good team player, which was part of it. So I don't actually know much about the shooting conditions. I know he liked working with Gene Tierney.
Yes.
They're wonderful together, and Where the Sidewalk Ends too, because there's a moment. Um, this is where I get really interested in him. It's kind of what's going on between the lines and what he's
Yes.
revealing about. Obviously, he's not. I don't feel that he himself as an actor is like, I am representing the troubles of the man in our time, right?
Hmm.
But kind of, I'm seeing it. I can't help it. I'm seeing that in his performance. So he's been roughed up by a bunch of thugs. He went up against them thinking he was going to win. It's like 5 against 1. You're going to lose. And then he shows up at her house and she's horrified. She doesn't know what's happened. And he sits down and she's kind of hovering over him. And there's a moment where he almost kind of blanks out. It's almost like he becomes disoriented a little bit. And he says, "Why did I come here?" He really doesn't know that. Now, I would bet that Dana Andrews knew. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is so not aware
Mm-mm.
of what he needs, and that this is something that he could even ask for, like care and love and a woman to help him or
Yeah.
whatever. But that moment is such a quiet little soft moment of almost disorientation, but also just confusion of like, why did I come here? Like, wow. His performances are filled with moments like that. Um, those are sort of the gems of his, he's quite open in a funny way, even though he's playing these closed off guys. He's quite transparent in a way.
Yeah, he is. That there is sort of a willingness to let people see what he's feeling. And he does have a really interesting backstory, like you were talking about. I just opened it up and yeah, born in southern Mississippi, the third of 13 children,
Wow.
of a Baptist minister. They relocated to like Huntsville, Texas, that area. One of his other brothers was an actor as well,
Also an actor,
Steve
right?
Forrest. Yeah. And he studied business administration in college. Then he went west to become a singer, which I had no knowledge of, that was an interest of his. They always have a where you were discovered story that they've kind of pushed back on whether it was real or not. But yeah, so that was kind of his upbringing. And it does kind of talk about the intelligence that is below the surface with him. And also there's class issues that come up in Laura, that come up in all of these
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Um,
Best years of our lives for sure. Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Where he, is proud of who he is, but at the same time, the women are of a different class. And, it is interesting throughout these movies, like, negotiating and walking that line, like in one way in Fallen Angel, like, do I use this girl for money? Versus Daisy Kenyon, he's finally the more upwardly mobile guy. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's always a little, it's interesting to me that his background, he seems so urban to me. He seems like
Yeah.
such a like, and he's not. He
Mhm.
wasn't. He did not grow up that way. And but yeah, it feels to me like I feel like we needed noir to see the shadings of what he's bringing. Like
Yes.
that genre was like so perfect for someone like that.
Mhm.
And he came at it again without kind of the charisma. I hate to say that either or, like he didn't have charisma, but we know what we're talking about when we're talking about movie stars. He
Mhm.
did not operate like that. So you have this kind of everyman, just
Yeah.
everyman.
Mhm.
And not every actor even wants to do that, or, and he was never nominated for anything,
Mhm.
including Best Years of Our Lives, which is everything else was nominated except him. Um, so yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he's easy to
yeah,
overlook in
yeah,
that sense. Yeah,
yeah,
because it is very naturalistic.
yeah,
Yeah, he isn't a very showy actor. And I think also I was trying to, when you said an everyman, you can kind of think a few decades later it might have been a Gene Hackman or somebody like William Peterson, even in Manhunter would be a Dana Andrews kind of
yeah,
performance, or something like that. Donald Sutherland kind of did
yeah,
these same things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like he was just very kind of interested in the very intelligent, like you said. Like
Yeah.
Stella Adler, the famous acting teacher, said one of her famous quotes is, "The talent is in the choice." And I
Oh, I
always
love
think
that.
about
Yeah.
that. So like, what is talent? People think it's some magical thing, or like you either have it or you don't, but the talent is shown in the choice. So for
Hmm.
me, the choice to have that moment of disorientation and then say, why did I come here? That's his talent. That's a
Yeah.
choice that other actors might miss. There's an existential quality to it,
Yeah.
it's deep,
It
whatever it
is.
is, you know.
Yeah, and he plays so well off of Clifton Webb, like with this little pinball, the
Love.
game he's playing through the whole thing, which kind of serves as a great device to keep, like that he is observing, and it's sort of a good guard of like, oh, I'm paying more attention than you realize. And you
Yeah.
see them. Now, I haven't read the novel, but I did see a thing where Preminger, when he saw it, was like, Laura isn't quite as interesting as these other characters. And so he changed the script around. And I know there were a lot of feelings about that in making the Waldo Lydecker character so
Oh,
prominent and bringing
yeah.
him from place to place. But I love their interplay.
Yes.
Waldo is amazing. The dialogue, every time we watch that movie,
Yeah.
I love the dialogue. But I also enjoy the interactions because it would be easy to let somebody like just walk away with that role. But what
Yes.
Dana is doing is so contrary that it
Yeah.
makes it a good balance.
It becomes this, like, you feel this, um you're wondering, is this a pose? Like,
Yes.
is anyone this hard boiled? Like,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna get in
Yeah.
there. And it's really good. Like, it's really genre, like it almost like sets the tone for that type of, hard boiled detective. Like, nobody was harder boiled than that guy, which is why in that famous scene where he is alone in the apartment
Yeah.
and walking around is so like, oh my God,
It's so
it's
dreamy. Yeah.
so dreamy and so revealing. It's
Hmm.
what you would call like a private moment. Speaking of
Hmm.
like actor studio exercise called the private moments, like you would stop what you were doing if somebody else walked in the room,
Yeah.
like looking through her clothes, and the it it makes it that much more startling because of how hard boiled he was. Again, the talent is in the choice. Like, I'm going to go this
Hmm.
hard because I know what's underneath it is this romantic obsession, sexual, whatever obsession. Um,
Yeah, and like you said, this is kind of the prototypical. I mean, look at Twin Peaks, searching for
yes.
Laura, and yes, a private eye who's so caught up. And I was reading an essay in this book that the mystery novelist Susan Elia McNeill recommended called Dead Girls. I don't know if you read this
Oh,
one.
interesting. No, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
it's essays on surviving an American obsession about how we're kind of all obsessed in fiction and film and true crime with stories of dead girls. And they were talking about with Twin Peaks, the idea of even her friends, it's not so much about the girl as the memory of the girl. And
Yeah,
that's what's interesting about Laura is it's this idea like she's gone, she's sort of this figment of his imagination, and then she walks in like a dream, but then he has to reason with that
yeah,
based on on the
yeah,
facts of, is she involved in this case? Yes.
right. And so his sort of his understanding of himself does not take into consideration the fact that he could go that insane.
Yeah.
Like he can't, if I have a wild crush on somebody, it doesn't shatter my sense of self because it happens all the time. For him,
Yeah.
he's just as like everything starts to shift underneath his feet. And the way that again, this is the talent is in the choice. It's how he does it. The final moment of that scene when he's alone in her apartment where he just collapses into the chair. It's like maybe his only like erotic moment on screen. Like it
Yeah.
is truly abandoned. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He kind of falls back with abandon. It's like, oh my God. I saw
Yeah.
that young too. I saw it like you probably in high school when I didn't really, I don't know
Yeah.
what I thought of it, but I never forgot some of those scenes. And when I went back to
Yeah.
oh, this
Yeah.
is,
And thinking of the chair, like you said, like it is a real surrender, a collapse. And it sort of makes me think of John Cazale in Godfather 2 in the
yes,
chair. Yeah. So I wonder if like subconsciously,
maybe
I don't know.
that's a good callback.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but that's a similar kind of thing. If
A
you're supposed to fall
vulnerability.
back into the chair, you could just sit in the
Yeah.
chair. You could sit in the chair and stare at the painting. That's a choice.
That's a choice.
That's a
Hmm.
choice. But look at what he does with it. It's like the chair just envelops him, and you're not used to seeing Dana Andrews in abandon. It makes you a little uneasy.
It does.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So can we talk a little bit about Daisy Kenyon?
Of course. Yes. Daisy Kenyon, this 40s era, the women's weepy. You've got
Yes.
Joan Crawford, who I just did an episode with my friend William Boyle on Joan Crawford. And I did shout out Daisy Kenyon. This is before I knew we were gonna, because
Yeah.
I have it over there somewhere. And I was thinking, oh yeah, Daisy Kenyon was good, but it had been a long time. Yes.
Yeah.
You've got, gosh, can you imagine being on the set, Henry Fonda and Dana Andrews with, you've got Joan Crawford and Otto Preminger. But yeah, Joan is playing somebody like a good 10 years older than the character's supposed to be, but she's great. Dana Andrews, though, is, the heartbreak. He is somebody who is having an affair, and it's different than the Fred character in, Best Years of Our Lives, who doesn't want to be that guy. This guy,
Yes.
he is. Yeah. He's the one
Yeah.
you get warned about, like oh, I'm leaving my wife, she doesn't understand me guy. Yeah.
Right. But he has hidden depths
He does. Yeah.
because he feels that he can't leave his wife because his children are being abused by his wife. And when he
Yeah.
finds
He's
that
very
out,
conflicted.
he can't leave his kids because those
No.
kids are afraid of their mother and
Yeah.
adore him, which is a redeeming,
Yes.
um, uh,
Yeah.
this is just me. And again, fine, everybody can judge me if they want, but if I had to choose, I would rather just kind of hang out and go to baseball games with the Dana Andrews character than have to deal with the Henry Fonda psychodrama.
No, I agree with you. I
I
think I would choose like enough. That guy was too much. Like right
but
away, it was,
and
I love you, let's get married. It was like, Jesus, okay.
so good though. It made it so
Yes,
interesting
yeah.
because
And
it's
I
like,
love Henry Fonda in this
yeah,
era, but
he's
yeah,
so good in it. Talk
yeah.
about, kind of post-war kind of
Hmm.
haunted people. And she's a grown up. she's a grown woman. She's not being victimized by Dana
Oh,
Andrews.
no, no.
She's definitely like, okay, well, I'm going out with this guy, and yet at the same time, okay, I'll go out with you, whatever. And so it does become like, what does she do? It becomes that is a movie for grown-ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We don't really make movies like that anymore.
No, like it's not that one is a valid choice and one isn't. Both have problems.
Yeah.
And she very well could have said, you know what? I'm not into either of
Yeah,
that also. And because it's Joan Crawford, that would be a plausible
for sure. Yeah.
and so
And
there's,
also, like, logically, these are probably not the guys, but she's
yeah,
a conflicted person herself.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. So I really like, I've, I've, I've watched that film quite a bit. And, I really like the sort of complexity that everybody is allowed. And Dana Andrews, like the character is sort of, obnoxious and all the different nicknames. He gets to be the like legitimate big shot, not the Joe Lilac ball of fire kind of goofball guy.
Yeah.
It says, but it's in that wheelhouse. But his love for his daughters is just so beautiful. The way, his portrayal of it. Those children are also wonderful. Those two girls.
Yes.
He has generated like a real sense of. There's a moment that he has. My friend Mitchell and I often call these like 5-second, 10-second Oscars. The moments that are like, oh my God, that's like incredible. Is the daughter, however old she is, 9 years old, is standing there and she has blood coming from out of her ear.
Yes. Hmm.
And he sees it and goes, what happened to your ear? What happened to your ear? He says twice. And it's so like you just shiver, like he is devastated. The choice for him is made. Like I'm not leaving my wife. I can't,
Yeah.
she get custody and,
She would get custody. Yep.
So it's quite complicated. It's
It
as
is.
complicated in its way as Best Years of Our Lives.
Hmm.
It has all of these different kind of elements, and you might not think that when you see it on the page, always this big talking, but doesn't he also have he's a lawyer. There's a political element too. I think he gets really kind of invested in a kind of case that he normally doesn't take, which is
Yes.
reparations to a
Hmm.
Japanese American who, right? I haven't seen
Yes.
it yet.
Yeah. It is very like,
Their internment and
yes.
property costs. And so this kind of big shot, hot shot
It
lawyer
is such a big contrast. Like, it
kind
is
of
the strangest.
suddenly
Yeah.
realizes, oh, this system is not right. And what
No.
happened to this man is not right. And,
Mm-mm.
nobody wants him to take the case. So it's very rich and I so appreciate it.
Yeah, and for a minute there, when we're in the case, we're like, oh, this is one of those gentleman's agreement or that kind of film from that era. And then we're back in Weepy Tear, and then we're
Yeah,
back with the
right.
psychodrama of Henry Fonda, and yes,
And
there's a
who will
lot
she
going
pick?
on.
Who will she, who will she
Yes,
be with? But I kind of do get invested in. I've read a couple of different pieces about Daisy Kenyon saying that, you know, that Dana Andrews' wife in that is portrayed. They don't like the portrayal. I just don't agree. I don't agree because not
Mhm.
all women are like perfect mothers. There are
No,
some,
no, not at all.
and so
Hmm.
this is showing film is filled with women who are very competent and doing wonderful things elsewhere. That woman, there are people who narcissistic, cold mothers, and that's what she is, and her children,
Yeah,
especially since they're girls. It's the other thing is she's targeting them because if they were boys, anyway,
yes,
it's very interesting.
yeah. Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
Yeah, there's a
scary.
lot of layers there because it's like the self-hatred and yeah. She is
Yeah, or
very
like, oh, I
that.
don't want them to be happier than I am. I don't want
Yes,
them to, how dare they
exactly.
be more beautiful than I am, even though they're children.
Yeah.
So it has all of that in it, which makes you, for me, I can see I feel for him. It's
Yeah.
sad.
Mhm.
he's in a sad situation. Anyway, he's wonderful in that. So
Yes, he is. Yeah, it is a really unusual movie for this era for Dana Andrews' like filmography as you look through things. I think he'd already been with Henry Fonda. Was it the Oxbow incident or they'd already act?
that was one
Yeah.
of his big early, yeah.
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 So it was good to see them in something again. Fallen Angel, I know he is not proud of Fallen Angel. He doesn't think it was very good, but he is very right when he says like Linda Darnell is the best thing in that movie. She is just,
It's
like
great.
the live wire energy through the whole
Yeah.
thing. But he does some interesting stuff
Yeah.
playing off of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he is unlike Laura or Where the Sidewalk Ends. He's not a cop. He is a grifter. He
Yeah.
is sketchy.
Oh my
He
God, she's so sketchy. Yeah.
he's a user
Yes.
and just
Very anti-Dana
wandering around,
Andrews.
yeah,
Yeah.
wandering around town just with $1. Like, you get off the bus because you have no money to go further, and now what are you going to do? You're going to just, which is kind of interesting, and he takes it so far. I mean, when you
Yes.
see what happens with it, he's very,
Goes
um,
after this one woman and then another. Yeah.
and then another, and then it almost goes on the road with like a psychic, like he almost just
Yes.
joins a traveling show. Um, and he's quite
Yeah,
sexually
all of a sudden
aggressive.
it's like, are we in Nightmare Alley? Like it took a
Yeah,
turn. Yes.
right. With John Carradine.
Yes.
Um, but he's very sexually aggressive.
Oh yeah.
And, Linda in a way that is it fits. It's very it doesn't feel like a stretch, even though we see the flip side of that in The Best Years of Our Lives when he keeps saying, did I do anything? He didn't say inappropriate, but he's talking to her like, I hope I didn't,
Yeah. Put the
push,
moves on you. Yeah.
did I put moves on you and it won't happen again? And,
Yeah.
a man of,
Uh,
has
yeah.
integrity. And, meanwhile, of course, she's like, I loved every second that you were doing. Um, but here he's
Why didn't you make a pass? Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so he's pushing Linda Darnell, like not taking no for an answer, and she's kind of playing a game with him.
Mhm.
She's uh hot, going out with other guys, all that kind of stuff. And yet at the same, and finally she's like, that's for kids. He's trying to make out with her, basically. Like, you
Yeah.
want to make out and, make out. And, she said, that's for kids, which is to me, that's such a great line.
It really is.
That's
Yeah.
for kids. You put a ring on my finger, get some money, put a ring on my finger, then we can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and that he's willing to do it to the degree that he
He's
does.
that like, yeah.
And he doesn't, um,
You know what I was thinking while I was watching is that it was perfect we were going to talk about this because I'm like, oh my God, she would have been the greatest pre-code, character. Like, we did an episode on pre-code women and like those
right.
movies. It's like, you could just slide her right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And, she's kind of a bad girl,
Yes.
with quotation marks around it. But you don't blame her for wanting to get out of that town.
Oh no.
Um,
Yeah. And then there's Alice Faye, who's like the opposite. Yes.
yep. The Chloe with Anne Revere,
Yeah.
as the older sister.
Hmm.
The, so some really good actors in that film.
Yeah. I think, the cinematography is gorgeous. I think there's a lot of stuff that redeems it and people should see it for Linda too. And also it's Dana in an unlikable, approach. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it probably might be the weakest of the group, but
Yeah.
my goodness, it's still like
Yeah.
entertaining. Yeah.
I like him as kind of this, he's almost like a virus that the town is trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
He is wandering around trying to latch on to this person, that person,
Yeah.
this person. and everyone is like, go away, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting place for him to be because of that layer of self-loathing that's there.
Yeah.
He's kind of
Desperations.
arrogant,
Yep.
you know, like I'm trying to think of like other people who play heels. I love that word and I'm trying to bring it back is
I
basically
know. I'll join you.
because it's so specific. It no other word really
We can make heel happen. It isn't fetch. I like heel. Yeah.
right, exactly. So yeah, so he doesn't rely on like he can't doesn't have that charisma that I'm talking about where you know, if you're a movie star playing a heel, you're still kind of glimmering with the fact that you're a movie star, which can be
Yeah.
very effective, can be
Yeah. Like
extremely,
After Dark, My Sweet, like that kind of a
yeah,
performance. Yeah.
I think, which is extremely entertaining and
Yeah.
can be quite, effective. Humphrey Bogart has a lot of roles that are like that, like
Oh
this kind of
yeah.
like romantic bastard heel,
Yes.
you know, you're like in love with him and Dana Andrews doesn't have that. Um
Mm-mm.
which is fine.
Hmm.
You don't need it. And so here we have just kind of like the everyman, the guy, the schlubby guy, loser,
Yes.
who is having to confess to this nice
Yeah.
playing lady that every plan he's made has come to nothing because he never follows through on anything. He's
No.
a loser.
Yeah.
And he's looks again with that sort of silhouette of the, I think Imogen called it a mid-century silhouette, you know, of that boxy man just hunched
Yeah.
over. Um, he understood. I mean, the film is ridiculous, but,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not alienated by it. I find it very entertaining.
Oh
And I
yeah.
love that it's like the little place where Linda Darnell works. It says like ice cream, cakes, and then on either side of the door it says beer. Huge
Oh,
beer.
that's interesting.
Like that sounds like the best. Like ice cream and cakes and beer all in this little place on the beach.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
he's always interesting to watch, and I think he does bring I mean everyone in that film is good too. Like every
Yes.
single actor is really
Yeah. They are. Yes. And Where the Sidewalk Ends, I was glad to revisit that. I don't know that I liked it as much the first time I saw it. I think I was like, it was strange to see these actors in this mode, but I love seeing, like you said, the self-loathing come through. Jean Tierney's character is very unusual for her as well. I like now I will say he's kind of struggling against type, and I wondered too, like, like, oh, those mooks or whatever he says about the people or the hoods on the street.
right.
He still has kind of this cadence that is a little too intelligent to like pull off. But I just love him in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
it goes on and it's about choices and these choices that he
Yeah.
keeps making and he keeps getting, like bury the shovel, like it keeps getting
Right.
worse. Yeah.
Right. And he's operating like the why did I come here moment.
Yes.
Also like why are you harassing Gary Merrill like so
Yeah.
hard? We get it. He's
Yeah.
a hoodlum, and
Yeah.
it's revealed later why.
Yes.
He has, you know, this is sort of he's a pre. So it's like, what year was that? Was it 1950? I can't remember the year. We're talking like late 40s, 50. So Freud is around, but he did not come near Dana Andrews. Like Dana Andrews is not working from a Freudian knowing
No.
place.
1950. You got it. Yeah.
1950. Um, so let's not say Dana Andrews. Let's just say his characters. His
Yeah.
characters are not reflective or um
No.
expressive. I mean, that's what's so stunning to
They
me
don't
about
know how to
horror.
be. Yeah.
They, you know, and whatever is going on has got to be hidden.
Yeah.
Um, which is why I think Best Years of Our Lives is so lovely because he doesn't have to do any of that. He just has to be, he's so wonderful in that film.
Oh,
Uh,
I know.
just so good. But yeah, yeah, he's always kind of reads a little bit too old, you know.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Until you said
He's
that,
a
I'm like,
little
yes, he
too
does.
old
Yeah.
in Best Years of Our Lives too. That should
Yeah.
be, those guys who dropped bombs were usually 18, 19,
Yeah.
you know, and, he was a soda jerk for 25 years. I mean,
I know. Yeah.
I
Didn't
think
really.
you're a middle-aged, okay, no judgment, but I feel like it's necessary to have someone with that gravitas, uh,
Hmm.
to really, uh, tell that story because, in that triumvirate, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to switch films,
Oh no, but you're
one to the
making a
other.
case here. Yeah.
Um, so it's a triumvirate, the three characters and one, which is Harold Russell, who wasn't an actor, who had lost both his
Yes.
hands,
Hmm.
and played, I can't even imagine what that must have been like to see. And it really it is
Yeah.
didactic, but at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
the scene where he's showing his girlfriend how he's how
Yeah.
he's gonna
That
have to be
destroys me every
undressed.
time.
I
Yeah.
just, even if it,
As like
imagine
a
the,
disabled person, like
I,
watching it, I can't
I
even.
will
Yeah.
not speak for that, but I will say I can't even imagine what that must have felt like in 1946 to see that it's
Yeah.
gonna be okay, and hopefully your girlfriend's like, just show me what to do, and
Yeah.
that's no big deal. It's like destroys you.
Yes.
So that's that story, which is its own drama, with the verisimilitude of the fact that Harold Russell was
Hmm.
an actor,
He
and
won
then
the
there's,
Oscar, or they gave him an Oscar. Yeah.
he won because
Yeah, that's right. Right. Two
they weren't
awards
just
that year.
gonna win, and I guess William Wyler said to him, go back to college. Like, that was the advice he said to him. He said, you're wonderful. You're going to be playing the same role that
Yep.
everyone's going to
Every
cast
time.
you, because it's going to become a gimmick. Go back and get
Yep.
educated and blah, blah, blah. And he seemed to live a nice, long, happy life. So it
Yes.
was an excellent story. And then there's the Frederick March character who basically just drinks throughout
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah.
and doesn't want to come home, doesn't want to come back or he wants to come home, but the real kind of, internal existential,
That's
like,
Dana.
what America am I coming back to and what was I just fighting for, is Dana
Yep.
Andrews' character.
Fred. Yeah. Was it Fred Derry? Something like that.
Gary,
Yeah.
yeah. He's again representative. He is the
Yeah.
everyman guy that the PTSD and also not fortunate. Like the fact that he even got into the Air Force coming from the slums, like, um, the shame
Yeah.
when he comes back and all of these like civilians are like kind of resenting the fact that he thinks he could just come back in and get his job back.
Yeah.
Who did these guys, the shame of that. Okay. Anyway, he's, he's extremely important to that film. I think
Mhm.
without it, he's heartbreaking. It's like three love stories too, really.
It is. Yeah.
They're all, half the time they're all just talking to each other about their love life, which is so adorable.
Yeah. Yeah. You
They're
have
all
the
like,
remarriage story essentially of
yes,
Frederick March and Myrna Loy, and then you have him trying not to be attracted to their daughter because he married some woman as a
way too
fluke.
fast, right before he
Yes.
shipped out. Yep.
Who he barely knew, and she's, a fast girl, and wants the money and, the flash and the uniform. And of course there's Harold Russell with his neighbor girl next door. Yes.
People who I just adore her. I
Yes.
adore her because she's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, assuming everyone's going to care. It really,
Yeah.
is quite beautiful, but and instructive in a way. It's
Yes.
like be like this, this is how.
Yeah. I think it's still timely. I still watch
Yeah,
that movie and it's like, oh, we're still talking about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Like, oh, well, how do I shake your
Yeah.
hand?
Yeah.
Those moments that are like, well, let's just address it. So I
Yeah.
think that is wonderful. But so he's Dana Andrews has what we've been talking about is this kind of just this almost like he's itchy, like this uneasy, restless, like something's not,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a success. I already can tell
Yes.
I'm not going to be, the only thing
Something's
I
gonna
was
catch
good
up with
at
him.
was
Yeah.
dropping bombs. Um, he did not marry well. His wife is horrible,
Yeah.
does not treat him well. He doesn't fit anywhere except with his two friends that he
Yes.
flew
Mhm.
home with. And so to watch him kind of just go through these things. He's processing them as they're happening. He's not processing. He's having nightmares. Um, he's probably projecting a little bit onto this nice daughter of his friend
Yeah.
and is probably mortified. He, he has that nightmare and then she doesn't mention it the next day and yet she's
I
still nice
know.
to him. Like he's, it's quite a good character study, I
It
think,
really is.
in
Hmm.
a role that it doesn't really require it.
Yeah, it anticipates PTSD or what we're going to be looking at in the
Yes,
next several wars. Yeah. Hmm. You
yes,
could like, put it with Coming Home or a couple of these movies.
mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I
And
know.
nobody knows how to talk about it, and
No.
yet the wonderful Teresa Wright
Yeah.
saw him in this moment of, I mean, women are key to this whole thing.
Hmm.
It's a burden, but we are, uh, you
We
know,
see the humanity. Yeah.
and you don't have to be perfect and a perfect
Hmm.
man, which is what Harold Russell had to go through as well.
Yeah.
No, I love you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I love the person that you are and whatever else you're putting on yourself. So, um, but yeah, it was fun to watch. I'm not popping in the best years of our lives every other day, obviously, but it was fun to rewatch it, really focusing on Dana Andrews and the things he's doing. Like there's a moment where basically Frederick March calls him to the bar with Hoagie Carmichael and stuff.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
are you in love with my daughter?
Yeah.
And he says yes. And he said, well, you know, give it up.
Yeah.
If you keep doing this, I'm going to clock you and stop it. And you see him make that decision, this quiet moment. You see him give it up, and it's happiness and hope and possibility. It's this quiet, tiny little moment on
I
his
know.
face, but it's
Yeah.
huge, you know?
Yes.
And it's that, to me, that's what the story needs, that,
10-second Oscar again, as you were saying.
he has many of them.
Yes.
He has many of them. So
Yeah. But yeah, he was the one not nominated. I think he didn't get his due. Yeah.
yeah, it's not that type of role.
No.
It's quiet. It just is. Imogen mentions it in her piece. He's an under actor, and,
Yeah. And I
and
love those kind of
yeah,
actors. Like
but
where
the
when they roll
Academy,
into a movie or you see them walk into a scene, you're like, oh, it's gonna be
yeah,
good now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And you watch Best Years of Our Lives, it seems absolutely ridiculous that he wouldn't at least be nominated because it is
Yes.
such a good performance. And he has one of the most famous scenes in it when he's in the airplane
I
graveyard. Like,
know.
if you haven't seen the movie, you probably know that scene.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, but it is what it is. I found an interview that he gave on television in like 1981 or something, and William Wyler was, maybe it was a little bit later than that, but William Wyler was getting some Lifetime Achievement Award of something, AFI or whatever. And so Dana Andrews couldn't attend, so he sent a telegram saying, congratulations. And Weiler wrote him a letter saying, oh, blah, 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 thank you. The film wouldn't have won any of those awards without your performance. Best
Oh,
Use of Our Lives. I know,
that's
which is,
beautiful.
it
Yeah.
has some big truth there, because
Yeah.
think about if that character had been played
You
in a
need that
cheesy way,
character. Hmm.
like imagine like a cheesy kind of performance. It
Yeah.
could go that way, the way that role is written. It
Yeah.
could be, um,
And it did so
so,
much for the veterans coming back because most of the people watching are going to be identifying with that character. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
to do it in this like humble
Understated.
way, but to
Yes.
be really honest about the terror, reliving,
Yeah.
trapped in the trauma of losing his friends and when the plane blew up and going back into the airplane graveyard. It's just so brilliant. Like,
Hmm.
I
I
gotta get.
also, yeah, think that his character, especially for women, was important because it maybe would make them understand the men in their lives who don't say things.
Yes.
Because of that era. Like you need that Dana Andrews character.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Yeah.
about like my grandpa when he got back from being in the Navy, he was in the Pacific Theater. He never talked about the war until like the 90s. And then he watched some movies and then he wouldn't shut up about it. But for decades, because he was in World War II, then he was in Korea, and then, yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's too heavy a burden.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's what you feel with the sort of shoulders of
Yeah.
Andrews. It's too much and
Yeah.
it's asking too much. And so, uh, yeah, that's a really good point that it could, before we had the language to talk about PTSD, a film like this,
Yeah.
be like, oh, this is what's happening in my house right now. Oh,
Yes.
well, where is he? Why is he getting drunk all the time? Like he was not drunk 4 years ago. Um,
Yeah. And you needed it too because, like you were bringing up Freud and analysis and stuff, that wasn't going to hit middle America. Like it was easier to watch a movie and to see like, oh, this
yeah,
is happening in my house. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I loved being able to revisit these movies. I did an
yeah,
episode on William Wyler and especially Best Years of Our Lives a couple of years ago. One of our guests was a Vassar professor who wrote like a kind of a book on it, I think. And that was a lot of fun to be able to talk about that movie.
yeah.
So I hadn't seen it since then until this.
Wow,
So it
yeah,
was great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's all this my favorite little moments. I'm like, oh, this is the moment. Myrna
Yeah.
Loy acting. She has a great acting moment when he comes home. You see her go, oh, he's home.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good little sequences in there that I are just excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other I mean, there's so many that he was in that are wonderful. I even remember him like on Falcon Crest,
Yeah.
and doing other things. And of course, in real life, he was somebody who became very open about alcoholism. So he was a
Yeah.
hero on that front. He was also, I didn't realize, the president of SAG for a couple of
Yep.
years. Yeah. Before Charlton Heston. Yeah.
Yep. And he
Yeah.
was I really admire him. I mean he
Yeah.
lost a lot because of his alcoholism.
Yeah.
He kind of went away for a while, did
Yeah.
television, but then kind of got sober, went into real estate, was brave enough in that era to start talking about going to churches and
Yeah.
things to talk about alcoholism.
Hmm.
Gosh, so, but meanwhile, he's doing real estate. I just admire him so much. He was married for 40 years. And then
Yeah.
he sees something, maybe Two for the Seasauce, like some play on Broadway, and then replaces, if I'm getting any of this wrong, I
I
apologize.
don't remember that part.
But,
Yeah.
he didn't open the play on Broadway, but he saw it, was like, oh, I like that. So he started doing theater and he would, tour with plays that he liked in regional theaters. And, it's my favorite kind of career. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's kind of like the excellence of the work, humility,
Yeah. For love of the work, for, yeah.
just
And just somebody who needs to work. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm going to get sober and be in real estate and kind of clean up my act. And but I really like this plan. I'm going to do that. So I really admire that's longevity.
Yeah.
It also to me just kind of shows the difference, talking about class again, someone
Yep.
who grew up so poor
Mm-hmm.
and had to work, you
Yep.
know, there was nothing given. And so it's kind of cool that he made it to a point where he could kind of go, huh, what do I want to do now?
Yes. And
Uh,
then still want to go back. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
to live long enough to have sort of the television and cable television for people to discover his work again,
Yes.
to discover,
And to actually experience that, like people recognizing him. I do think it
yeah,
was so great. I mean, he passed away before that, but like with the TCM audience and then those actors who were unappreciated and didn't make enough money and tons of stories and went through things are finally like people loved what we did.
isn't
Yeah.
that amazing? I
I
know that
know.
must be so surreal to be like, I was in the movies 70 years ago and these,
Yeah. And
you
some
know,
20-year-old girl is a big fan.
still
Yeah.
like absolutely loves what you do. So
Yeah.
I think he definitely lived long enough to kind of see some of that happen. So yeah, he was, I'm always happy when he's in something. There was such a long career. So many,
Yes.
Walk in the Sun is great. Oxbow Incident, he did the first, Swamp Water, I think it's called, the a
Okay.
film that, Jean Renoir did in
That's
America.
right. Yeah.
Um, which is just, which I remember seeing. I didn't rewatch it for this, but I saw it
Hmm.
like during a Renoir JAG. So he worked with literally everybody. He worked with
Yeah.
Kazan, worked with, he went through the
Oh yeah,
whole,
Boomerang. Yep.
yep, yep. And Kazan was kind of bitchy about him in his memoir, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. No, I loved being able to explore his career. We're gonna have to come up with another idea. I'm sure you will. You know your
If you have
actors
one, that's
and
good.
your
No, this is a good. I like pulling people out, especially people I either haven't written about
yeah.
or I'm kind of interested in kind of talking with you about to kind of see what I do think about it. Like,
I
why do
know. I
you
really hadn't put it together like what it
either?
was that he keeps doing until you watch the movies in quick succession. Yeah.
Agreed, agreed. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy does not. There is no joy,
No.
especially with those. There's no like release.
No.
There's
Mm-mm.
nowhere he can go to release any of this stuff, which makes for really interesting cinema. Really
Yeah,
interesting
his character never reaches the
film
10.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I love Dana Andrews. So, Sheila, come up with more people and more topics. You're welcome back anytime you know that.
Well, this has been so fun, Jen. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I also want to thank everyone for listening, especially my patrons who support the show and help fund my research, equipment, film rentals, RSS fees, and more for as little as $1 per month at the Film Intuition Patreon, which is the home base for the show. Other ways you can support the podcast are by sharing, reviewing, and subscribing to Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts, and also checking out the cool merch store hosted and created by our talented logo designer, Kate Gabrielle. You can find the merchandise store, including shirts, tote bags, stickers, and more by visiting filmintuition.com and clicking on the shop link. The show's theme music is solo acoustic guitar by Jason Shaw and is available in the free music archive. Well, until next time, please take care and happy movie watching.
This is Jen Johans at filmintuition.com and filmintuition on social media and Letterboxd. And this is Watch with Jen.